Alright, hello everyone. We're gonna have one more set of TTL tonight. And I'm relying on you to tell me that the noise filter is working properly. And I should start AoE 2. That'll be useful for watching the games. Let me check the Discord. Yes, we do have names. Ooh. This is Silver. We're gonna have a very good set of maps for this. Oh, this is gonna be a great set of maps. Are you ready, chat? Are you ready? Is there anyone even here? I don't know, but this is gonna be an amazing set of maps. As look at that, we have two clown maps: Bypass for game 1, Regicide Tulo as ST4rk's home map, and then Monocle as deaKer's home map. So I guess today will be the last day of the subathon. We did hit that pretty darn well this month. We'll see how well we can do next month. Maybe I gotta come up with more sub goals. Use into a like monthly sub thing. So I finally got the Red Bull logo off of the overlay. I put my T West logo there. I'm wondering if that really needs her, if it just like clutters up the screen. So I think what I do, my overlay idea is now take the camera, put it in the bottom left, and then stretch the draft across the stream, but make it take more horizontal space. Because these things tend to be more horizontal than vertical, in my experience. And then if there are any sub goals or stats or whatnot, I can put them across the bottom. And then if alerts pop up, alerts just go like in the middle of the screen. I guess because then they're like in your face, and that's the point of having an alert. I can probably get rid of the T West and AoE 2 logos down there. AoE 2 was more for the people who were like Twitch front page looking at the stream. We also had Ace of Spades and Carle Zul following earlier while we were offline, so thank you to you. We are 20 follows away, and on Twitch from 15k and like 40 away on YouTube from 30k. So Chinese way Koreans. What a top 3 Civ draft. Haven't seen that every single game recently. Let's get ready and capture age, make sure that we have the silver logo, not the gold one. Oh, and I have to remember to empty my rec folder. Oh, and Farion, thank you very much for the sub.
We shoot to kill.
Thank you very much. Who you got? I'm gonna go ST4rk. ST4rk played incredibly well in that set against Bad Koala. Yeah, I still need to figure out my travel plans, Farion. I am not set on anything yet. Let's see, I'm emptying my rec folder. I have a backup rec folder. There we go. See, I don't need the bad Seychelles game anymore because I'll fix that bug. It's a wonderful feeling when you can clean out your rec folder, because the more recs you have, the longer it takes DE to open that folder. You may have a spot. All right. Yeah, I'll keep you updated. It'll probably be a couple weeks, and I'll figure it out. So I might try to take a longer vacation than just London, but I need to figure out my time schedule. And Old Man Willow, hello. And also hello, Tusked Star, aloha. How am I handling this winter wonderland? I've been doing a ton of shoveling, Tusked Star. A ton of shoveling. I've also had the downside that there was so much snow in the parking lot, and let's see. I'm also noticing that like the gradient I have on the chat box doesn't work as well with the footage in the background, so I'll probably change that up a bit. It was great for the Red Bull like solid image, but for the footage it's a bit different. You can experiment with the overlay a bit. And this is Sylvia. Anyway, as I was saying, handling the winter, there was so much snow in the parking lot that my neighbor's daughter had trouble parking her car and rammed me like a good old battering ram. So I have a big dent in my car I've been dealing with the past couple weeks, and I have a repair date, and their insurance is going to cover it. But it's still rather annoying to deal with in the cold. It's safe to drive, but I'm trying to minimize the amount of driving I'm doing anyway until it gets fixed. Your car was so frozen you literally ripped off your door handle for your back seat. Oh no. Oh yeah, you were in Florida for a while. You're probably not used to the Illinois winter. When I was in Wisconsin, it got much colder than it does here in Jersey, but we didn't get nearly as much snow. Hello, our base. You've lived in the north before. It ripped. I've never ripped off a door handle for a car. That must have been a really closed door, and Varya must be going to the gym bulking, so he has the strength to tear that off. Check the map room, says our base. How do we feel about that, Jen? Ooh, that feels bugged. And you're not a fan of that, Jen. Definitely not. Yeah, I mean, technically it does follow it, but I would read that too. Thank you, Gecko Dog, for the follow. I agree. Oh, I'm Hawaii and your phone gets hot when I watch stuff on the beach. The pain of being from Hawaii. I'll tell you something even more painful. My father was in the Navy, and he lived in Hawaii in the 80s, and when he moved, he sold his condo. And had he held on to it, it would be worth millions now. I checked the price of it. After he passed away, I looked up a history of... We had a whole bunch of old papers we went through. And I saw his old addresses and looked at the price of it now. And I was like, dang. Should have held on to that. Hello, Drex. How you doing? And let's see. Oh my gosh, the dashboard. Very nice to navigate now. I see the lobby. Little queue for spectating. Stark's hosting. And this ought to be a good one. I do think Stark is a favorite here. But also hard to tell for deaKer. I know in the past he's had scheduling problems, so I don't have as good of a read on his gameplay as I do on Stark's. Oh yeah, I casted the first one, R-Base. Or what little of it there was. deaKer has been very good. Yeah, that's what I've seen. Been very good this season. Also, credits to all the new UI updates for the spectator dashboard. Makes it much easier to navigate and use. Alright, so are we okay with yellow versus purple? Looks like that's going to be the colors. I like when players pick colors. Put the spec delay back so we can check it before the game. Nice. Single-digit overnight temperatures for the past week. I feel like I've been back in Denver 17 years ago working overnight in the transit depots. Transplanted Hawaii and an icy Maryland outside of DE. Outside of DC. And I'm even saying DE. because I've played it so much. It has been cold. You're probably getting similar snow to what I'm getting then. It has been one heck of a journey getting everything cleaned. I'll tell you that. Good morning, Azor. 1984. Good morning. Okay, they've launched. We'll have a 1-minute spec delay. It'll be Italians versus Way. And I probably should have done ad launch. Okay, I'm gonna, while they're loading in, I'm gonna do ads just to get them out of the way and hope that it delays them properly. I hate the minigame of microing on Twitch. See, let me read YouTube. Car insurance companies can be annoying. That they can be. That they very much can be. But so far it's been so good with dealing with them. Oh, and Azora 1984, thank you very much for using your Prime sub. Thank you for sailing with the Baltic Fleet.
You wish to see the Sea of Worms? Look upon it and despair!
Oh my gosh, I love that one. Good old Vinland Saga. Alright, so here we are. DKR. I will spell his name as deaKer because I think we will recognize that a bit more. Ooh, and I use these text boxes, the background scrolls. That's where the fire ships went for Vikings for the past 25 years. This is where their demos will go now, our base in the new patch, the Sea of Worms. Alright, so Bypass shall be our map. We'll have deaKer as the yellow way and Stark as the purple Italians. What? What? Why? I guess... I'm trying to figure out what Stark's doing here. Why is he walling only 2 tiles? He built those. He built those. Okay. Right. Okay, so the ad is over, and let me. I'm thinking what Stark's doing here, right? So here we have the quicksand terrain. So Stark here in the purple will send 2 palisades to go from the gate to the quicksand. And that means that no matter what deaKer does, deaKer over here in the yellow can wall off his side of the quicksand, but Stark cannot be walled off by deaKer on this side because one of the bits of wall will always be Stark's, and since this is unwallable, he can delete that and then run forward. As long as deaKer isn't really standing there with the Vil waiting for the quick wall as soon as the delete happens. So, yeah, okay, I haven't seen this yet. We've used this map a long time, and I haven't seen this, so good on Stark for coming up with something a bit new. Okay, good shot on the ostrich there. And more ostriches hanging about. So with this map, there are gates in the back. I reduced the trees slightly, so ostriches will always fit through, or there will always be gates there. Ostriches can fit through them. You won't need to delete palisades if you don't want to. Always could delete them if you wanted to. Maybe it makes it easier than holding a gate open. Let's see, I can add flags for the players. deaKer is from Argentina. Stark is from Brazil. I know people like the flags. But, okay. What's going to happen in the Civ matchup? The way. Civ that has been picked over and over and over again for these closed maps and for really for every map. 1 free Vill for every eco upgrade gives you up to 5 free Vills in Feudal, another 5 in Castle. And then crop rotation and Imp. Wheelbarrow and handcart do count. They don't have normal trebs, but they do have traction trebs. And then they have 3 unique units, the Huiguang Cav, the Shinbei Raider, and the Tiger Cav. And if need be, even their hero. I've not seen the hero used outside of Regicide Fortress on a larger map size, though. And those elephant corpses under the TC, as Stark's getting his eco rolling. And Stark is up on 17 population as the Italians. deaKer up on 19 population. Do we have Loom? 17 pop with Loom for Stark. No Loom for deaKer. Is he going to go forward and try to tower rush through that wall? Okay. Stark up super fast. That's incredibly fast. I think that's the fastest uptime I've seen on this map. So yeah, it has to be a Trush at this point, and the late barracks means there won't be any men-at-arms with a Trush. It'll have to be an archery range and that Winchester-style Trush attempting to push down the middle. And again, this is probably why he did this wall, because he doesn't want to be walled off where the Trush would be ineffective if it's back there. But deaKer also going to go for the Trush. Oh, let's go. We're going to have a Vill fight, but deaKer will be up more slowly and doesn't have the Vills. What is he doing out there? He's going to be forward first. What is this? There's Stark up to Feudal. You don't have vision of this. But there's the range from Stark. Is he anticipating a Trush from deaKer and simply going archers to stop it? What a... Well, with the gate there, he sees it. He sees it, and there's the tower. Okay, so he'll be able to wall us off. He'll counter tower from inside of his walls behind the house. That is very safe from him. And he'll delete the walls. One thing I'd say is you want to delete the wall a bit later, because then if it's more difficult for deaKer, he could just do 1 palisade and stop your Vills from getting there, but Stark didn't get punished. Stark will repair this tower as best he can, or finish the tower as best he can, while attacking with Vills, doing some walls on both sides to make the ungarrisoning more awkward for deaKer. And well done defending against the tower rush from Stark. That stops this tower dead in its tracks. So, okay, bit of a funky opening from both of them, and deaKer will react with some stone walling now. Okay, well, I think that the Way should have the better economy after this. That's not fully walled, is it? There's a hole there, isn't there? There's definitely a hole there. Is there not a... Oh, okay, never mind. In front of that, there's not a hole. There's a felled tree there. Okay, no hole. My Trush was a waste of time. Well, it did at least buy him the ability to stone wall, but he could have just done that instead of Trushing. Did force Stark to do a defensive tower at home, so Stark will have to mine some stone or use the market should he want to get another forward tower. It will be a defensive tower from deaKer, who is over on the stone. And thank you, Poisoned Gliscor, for the follow. Thank you. So there goes the tower. Forces the Vill and some archers away. I'm so confused. Well, now Stark, he does have some scouting of the outside. I think he's laming a couple of goats. Doing horse collar, and he's probably ready to boom and go feudal. Thanks for casting some AoE. Well, thanks for watching. Glad to have you here. We are... Maybe we'll hit it tomorrow, but we are very close to 15k followers, which feels like a good milestone to hit. Then we go to 20k and then 25k. Up from there. Why not call Stark by his full name? It's too many syllables. And I've always known him as Stark.
Ein Impero.
That lion not going to eat the archers. They will peacefully walk around. deaKer not seeing that yet. deaKer could see, though, that the ostriches are running. If he's really paying attention, the fog of war might clue him into some archer activity. We'll have a market on the way up from deaKer. And the archers, no fletching. So, a -1 range impacts their ability to hit vills farther behind the walls. Fletching just coming in now. Now, if Stark were to break through this gate, especially with fletching, then threatening both the gold and the stone would be nice. And he's going to force another tower. That's the 3rd tower from deaKer. Good eco damage, forcing deaKer to spend the stone that he's mining. A player who likely wants Tiger Cav. Ooh, interesting in the Civ matchup, though, that Tiger Cav, Shinbei Raiders, and Huiguang Cav all should be countered by the Genoese crossbowmen of the Italians. I say should, full well knowing that there's probably some type of DLC cheese where they're not countered, but in theory, the Cav unit should be countered by the anti-Cav unique unit. And there is Castle Age. Why didn't he tower 1 tile back so he could wall it in? He wanted to get as much range forward as possible to make it harder for Stark to wall. Up here, everything you do, there'll be trade-offs with that. But yeah, being able to wall it in might have been nice, because then Stark can't simply delete a palisade and fight it, and be walled. Castle Age stone mining, both on the way from deaKer. Just call him Daddy. So, 4th tower from deaKer, still defending that break-in. Stark is stuck in his base. I heard things that he's mining stone. If he does a castle drop, it won't be forward. I wonder if he goes straight to Imp, though. After clicking castle. He still hasn't clicked up. And yeah, that market is going to keep him out. But deaKer has had to spend a good bit of time walling against this. It's a 2-minute difference, and... what is the follow-up? What does Stark do now? In terms of elo, they are, oh, exactly the same. 25-30. As deaKer up to castle. Scout won't be able to chase any more as the archers run around. And what Stark's doing here is he's keeping deaKer inside and preventing him from getting to the ostrich locations on the side of the map. There's a ton of food out there. And if you can delay your farms because you have a TC on the ostriches, then you can more easily go for siege, or more easily go for siege while doing multiple TCs. Yeah, and he will keep the archers alive pretty well, although that scorpion timing will be before the archers become crossbows. Still that unfinished gate in the middle for deaKer, but deaKer will go for the 2nd TC, and he's looking to boom. TC stable merging there. And, alright, so what now do the Italians do against the way? It's such an emphasis on stone for Stark, but he doesn't have any vills to drop a castle forward. Castle out here would be cool. But a castle on the inside might not have the timing it needs. That's why I was saying maybe this is a fast imp, but now he'll put down 2 TCs. He'll put down 2 TCs and boom. Try to outboom someone with more villagers is the way. Who also had the faster uptiming into the extra TC. Yeah, I'm still wondering. Stark put down 2 TCs. I thought he was going to go imp with all that gold. Certainly one thing you can do is the Italians. Imp and then Gen Expo plus Treb push. Yeah, the Gen Expo, much superior to the Gen Zebo. I am back, yes. Genoese range will take care of mangonels. Yeah, they are perfect versus Way, that's what I'm thinking. And I think Stark, with that emphasis on stone, knows it too. Oh, wait, what am I saying, Fast Imp? This is Stark we're talking about. He's going to put down a 4th TC. Because of course he is. He wouldn't be doing anything else. Side TC, castle there, maybe Stonewall the middle. Those vills need to wall themselves. Maybe, just maybe they could fight the scouts. Let's see, the scouts are pretty low. No upgrades on them. Stark will pay attention and kill one of the scouts, so... Alright, no need for walls. 8 vil difference there in favor of deaKer, as that monk is bringing the relic back. Monasteries there along the walls. 5 relics on the map, 1 in the middle. And now Stark only 4 TCs? You expect 5, 6, 7, 12 TCs from him. Why such a vil difference? deaKer got up faster and got his TCs added in. That's a 2-minute difference to the castle age. Vils take 50 seconds to produce. So let's say a 4 vil difference from each TC. And you get about there. So, castle going up in the back, relic going to be put in the monastery. 4 TCs is a fast imp for Stark. Yeah, and then the Way also get their free vills from the technology, so that's boosting deaKer too. Yeah, time for one more TC. Claim the stone out here, get your final TC in. More than enough time to do it. Taking a forward relic too. Oh, we were talking about a castle from Stark on the outside. Well, that's what we get from deaKer. deaKer putting the castle out here. Stark needs to scare those ostriches and kill them in decent locations so the corpse block the castles. I think he needs to run now. I think so too. I think that was an ambitious farm out by the faraway TC. So we'll kill that scout. That's why the castle needs to be on the side TC. That's still a risk, though, for the Italian player, that they want to have their Genoese crossbow production if they're losing castles. And he'll go for another side TC, and that'll be his 2nd relic he'll be able to bring in. So 2 relics for Stark. Monasteries in the back. And hello, Numerfolt. How are you doing? Yep, I know about the Wall and Boom account. That is a good name for an account, I gotta say. And oh, look at that! Whatever happened there, that got stopped. deaKer not grabbing that relic. Stark will get it. And that'll be 3-2 relics in favor of Stark. Now, there is the Tiger Cav, already picking off a Vil. Both players up to Imp, Stark about a minute behind. And start going Genoese crossbowmen. What is the purple spot in the west? A group of archers that have been there forever. This is the 5th active TC and 6th overall TC for Stark, having lost 1. Click input the wrong TC. Clicked input this one, that feels right. But yeah, does feel a bit later to be the Italians and going up after the Way, but also does feel good to have stayed within only 4 Vils. 2k res collected isn't great, but he is within 4 Vils of deaKer. He clicked late. Yeah, this is where the Italians shine. Fast imp, able to do bombard cannon. And condottieri if they need to counter cannon. and gen bows to counter almost everything else. Stone walls on the left. That'd be nice. Allow yourself to focus more in the middle and on the right. There is deaKer up to the Imperial Age. Selling food. And Elite Skirm, and, well, our base asks, and st4rk delivers. Stonewall. That's why I love st4rk. He's not afraid to stonewall the entire map. And don't think this will do much pressure. There are some good house walls behind it. And a monastery for st4rk by the castle. I'm still kind of waiting for someone to do a fast imp with the fish on Coast Arena. I think there's room there for going imp fast and then controlling all the golden stone in the middle. But yeah, our base. This is one of the more veteran TTL or T90 event maps. Bypass. It's been around for a while. And that Vil should go down, the outpost Vil, to the archers. So good job from st4rk, keeping those feudal archers still to pick a Vil this late. Can we make any changes to it? The only changes were I ensured there was always a palisade gate on both sides, and I fixed the missing sheep. That's about it. So now an imp, deaKer will be able to go for the traction treb push as the way. And he does have a pretty darn good score lead with all the extra res collected he has. Yeah, none that actually really affect the gameplay at all. Most of the other maps had at least some type of change, but this one was pretty good right from the start. High Tides was, it's pretty much the same, but same thing. I fixed a couple of units that didn't spawn. Tried to slightly balance the fish out of it. And well, it's good to see that gates and palisade gates are destroyed by traction trebs, because usually these things are not that good against buildings. deaKer can destroy wood with the treb. Actually, now that you mention that, traction trebs, they can cut like normal trebs, I guess. You actually could cut a path to get behind st4rk's wood line. Oh my gosh, that's a great idea. Actually, it's a great idea. You can even do it from out here, right? Make some traction trebs. Chop through. Can they cut? Can enemies see the effect of something being researched? No, they cannot. And Treb's now pushing st4rk's TC. He's down by 2k score. Still have 3-2 relics. Two monasteries in the back as the Rams try to get through the wall, and he will look to monk push on the outside. To monk push the outside. And yeah, st4rk is in trouble. Cannon goes down. We'll have another cannon shot on the Skirm. Skirm's taking some damage. And Capped Ram, Thumb Ring, Parthian Tactics all on the way for deaKer. Ooh, Skirm. Domed by the cannon. Can you destroy your own farms with cannon? I know they do splash damage. I guess you can. A couple more Skirms going down. As all the Vils die, but nice shots on the Skirms. Masonry will not come in time, I'm afraid. Yeah, down it goes. Cav save. So we play Skirm? Yes. It'd be funny if universities and blacksmiths had a flag on them doing research like students are in class now. It was something that happened in DE's beta. No one really was a fan of it. Oh, Castle Race. Castle Race on the left. But we also have a capped ram push from deaKer. st4rk gets his castle up first. But will that actually be enough with the capped rams? Only villagers here. Genoese crossbowmen are not a melee unit. They don't deal well with rams. So no way to stop this. No even workshop or mangonels in the back. And as far as repairing goes, both castles so close to each other that the other player shouldn't be able to repair from the back. deaKer just sending the Vills to attack the front, though, and I think Stark's going to lose his castle. 4 Rams and a good number of Vills. And some Vills go down, but that's a sacrifice that deaKer was happy to make. As he gets the castle, we'll get the TC, and we'll clean Stark off of all the extra gold and stone over here to the northwest. And Traction Trebs continuing the push into Stark's main base. In the south, Stark, no counterattack, content to have conceded that part to deaKer. And yeah, this is a good push. This is a good push. Like, I do like his position a lot more. And this side, I don't see what Stark can do from now. The Skirms are there to deal with the Genbos. He's making one last push with Light Cav and some Tiger Cav. deaKer even focusing on destroying Stark's siege rather than protecting his own. Maybe he doesn't like Traction Trebs either. That's a ram down. Stark is super cooked, and he might even be more so if this castle goes up. Tiger Cav on its way forward. And a Genoese crossbowmen do a good bit of damage. Yeah, it's a yellow castle. If that were a purple castle, it'd be one thing. Although, it could be a yellow doubt castle. Wait just a minute, wait just a minute. What's happening to these vills? deaKer is not noticing. deaKer is not noticing. Every single villager is dying. Oh my gosh. It's like 10 vills there. Alright, well, he's got vills to spare. He's up by 29. That's fine. He's not worried at all. He has too many. Just sending them to their deaths. Not a couple too many. Now, what is the unique tech for the way? It is Tunshin. So that tech is units generate food, I think, if I could see the scoreboard. There you go. Soldiers passively produce food. Okay, nice. A castle from Stark. Who is at the very least going to make deaKer work for it. For some reason, the farms going up Stark's base with the houses, monastery, and stables like that kind of makes me think there's like a road in a campaign. This little part of his base is reminding me of a campaign town. All the skirmishers must enjoy the campaign as they are having a grand old time killing vills in those farms. Gate goes down, Light Cav's still running around, and Stark has to do something with those vills. He sends them to a house in the corner. But deaKer is at 190 pop, Stark 162. I don't think there's much he can do. Yeah, deaKer's getting close to 200. And one more big fight in the middle. We're going to have another forward castle here. At the very least, Stark kind of cleaning things up in the northwest. But his main base is being ravaged by all of these Shinbei raiders. So he is pushing a bit on the left. He did stop a castle. At the very least, there's no overchop from deaKer. It would be crazy if deaKer had overchopped. Is he just sending all those vills to do the castle? Well, it does take a village to raise a castle. He'll get there. And right in time, the castle will go up before the Trebs take it down. But now, deaKer has to counterattack against the Trebs when his army is in Stark's base. His army's over here. His army here almost can help with the... There we are, with the attack, but he will lose that. Yeah, deaKer will lose that castle. And Stark must say, you know what? There's still a chance. There's still a chance. Picked out fan. Lons. Hello, Baskets. Hello, Baskets. How you doing? Ooh. Italian light cav? I mean, they're fully upgraded light cav. Happy Leaves believes. As long as the odds command doesn't say 0%, Happy Leaves will believe in Stark. And time for the surprise condottieri. Against the anti-gunpowder unit against the Three Kingdoms Civ. It's still 50-50. Looters. Still 50-50. That's telling you Happy Leaves really believes. Hello, late loomer. And Shinbei Raiders, but again, against Genoese Crossbowmen that will have +5 attack against them. They do indeed have the Cav armor. So Genoese Crossbowmen against Tiger Cav and against Shinbei Raiders. Put a meat shield in front of them and let them go to work. Not that many repairs on the castle, but it is uphill. Stark starting to stabilize a bit against the Tiger Cav thanks to those Genbows at home. And there is still a Civ matchup that should favor Stark. So 150 pop for him as he loses the fight over here on the left. And runs Vils away from the Golden Stone. And Tiger Cav shut down by the castle. Is Stark okay? Has Stark gotten to Genbows enough that he can hold this? 50% rounds up to 100%. One of them, at least, is guaranteed to win. Ooh, some 1 HP farms out there as Stark could snipe if he's paying attention. "30 Genbows, we win." Maybe more than 30, but if you get up to 50 or so, then I think the way you really don't want to fight anywhere. They are very slow, too. So we also face the downside that there are 3 passages that Stark needs Genbows in. And if there's ever one passage where the Genbow numbers get too massive, then deaKer can go to another passage. So crossbow still going down. Did Stark get Thumb Ring? No, he did not. No, he did not. That's a good shout out there. When you're around 200 pop, starting to flow res, you do want all the upgrades you can get. And it will be now Hussar, fully upgraded Italian Hussar. What's he missing? Missing just attack upgrades now. Yeah, has the armor. And Tiger Cav, Shinbei Raiders against the Hussars. Crop rotation for Stark. He is prepared for a long game. Crop rotation is something you only do if you think the game's going to go super long. Well, it was around 1 hour 15 where Jordan Dogao started chatting about the game being over yesterday. See how much longer this one lasts. Stark does have the pop lead, 117 to 160. The Hussars are getting around the back of deaKer's eco. There is a chance. There's still a chance for Stark. Did deaKer get Mingwei armor? He did not. No, he did not. So he get the Mingguang armor. How did I say that? Mingguang armor. I left out a G. He gets that. And well, how does that? I guess it helps against the Hussars. The things that are really doing the damage are the Genbows, and it's only melee armor, it's not pierce armor. So elite Tiger Cav now. And they changed tiger skins from an orange tiger to a white tiger. So is there any basis on that upgrade? That changing the color of the tiger makes them better? Polar bear Cav? They're not polar bears, they're tigers. No more Pete Alonso on this stream, sadly. And the Elite Tiger Cav, 0+6. Does he have the tech now? Yes, now he has the tech. White Hussar are really good. If gold runs out, I can see deaKer winning with full Hussar skirms. Problem is, if gold runs out, I can see Stark keeping Genbos in the back underneath his castles and holding against raids for a long time, only needing occasionally to sell some food to get more Genbos. Another TC from deaKer. Alright, I was not expecting this game to be so long when I saw a 17 pop up from Stark. Only Tiger Cat. Oh, wait, we have the hero. We have Cao Cao. Queued somewhere. Where is he? Oh, but he can't make his hero because he's housed. He's blocked at 200 pop and can't make the hero. I'll Stark at 202. Okay, these Hussars are going to be destroyed if I have to fight a unique unit there. And, well, these Hussars might get raids. I have to be careful about feeding kills to the Tiger Cab to make them stronger. They have the same mechanic as the Jaguar Warriors, that they gain more attack and also more HP through every kill. Anvils around the farms. Still not too bad of a situation for them. A couple of farm snipes from Stark. These Hussar raids have gone quite a long ways into the eco. They have to run underneath 3 castles, so even if it's not walled, they're going to take some damage on the way. I have no idea with how Stark got away with turning things. Did take 2 denied castles. Hey, doubt castles are the quickest way to turn a game around. Doubt castles and big mangonel are demo hits. Still need to fight over the gold on the outside, and still no one trying to go down the middle. Everyone going around, everyone just bypassing the middle as the map's name would imply for you to do. There, gold counts. How's this fight going? Elite Tiger Cav mixed in with Genbos in the back. Skirms, small numbers still remain. And the Tiger Cav are killing some units around here, killing the Hussar. Genbo's trying to take out the Cav. They have to fall back though. They're falling back. Cav, low HP, they're going down. Cannon hits the skirms, and this is now cleaned. But deaKer's still raiding, getting to the inside of Stark's base, forcing some vills to rewall. And deaKer definitely has the advantage in map control. Everything down here taken already, though. Everything over here about to be finished, and we're gonna have a no gold wood game on our hands. Hero completely messes up the army value stat. I never actually look at the army value stat. Military value? Yeah, I never look at that stat. I would just as soon remove value %G from the UI and give us more UI space. Yeah, wood game on bypass. Everything else will be gone. Literally everything else will be gone. So, ring archer armor now for Stark. And we're into this. Okay. He can be trained again if he dies. No big deal if he dies. Rude to attack around berries? I don't think that's rude. And the treb goes down, Skirms get the final javelins in. Heroes, I know. At least they're forgettable. At least they don't really impact stuff. But yeah, he is there. As sad as it is. Yeah, the Spectator Dashboard website is the real hero. Not the silly Cao guy. And another fight that looks like Stark is losing slowly, but at the same time, he's also maybe pushing to the other side. Looks like there's a TC from deaKer that was denied, and some deaKer's units hit by the Genbows. And still the problem with the Genbows, that deaKer has no way to kill them. Who's bringing the elephants to end this? There's just double checking. The Way don't have elephants, right? No battle elephants? No. Okay. Had to worry for a second. Onager? What's gonna happen with deaKer and the Onager? Is he going to cut somewhere? That ram could take down that wall. Are we gonna get a Black Forest style Onager cut from here to Stark's remaining base? deaKer is all the gold? The problem is the gold has already been mined, so holding this part of the map doesn't really matter anymore. And right now, Stark's the one with the gold. It's 9 on gold to 12. And Team Accountant, thank you very much for the follow. Now more Hussar raids. As that way, there's a market on the edge of the map. Stark is getting ready to trade. deaKer needs a market over here. So what gold is left? I think this is it. There's somehow had 9 bills on gold for deaKer, but I don't know where they are. Unless they're behind something over here I'm not seeing. Oh, look at this economy. It's just mills and farms for everywhere. Everywhere in the back. See? Oh, where'd the hero go? Oh, he's right there. What does this hero do? Increases the attack speed of nearby units. Extremely powerful. If only he could be converted. Spot him right. He's behind the ram. He is fusing himself together with the ram to gain even more power. Yeah, it is really hard to push the Genoese crossbowmen, and Stark's starting to get a good queue. So 46 Hussars to 44. This is the part of the game where you stop looking at food and you start looking at the Hussar queue, which is now 60 to 50. Oh boy, so the Hussars for Stark keep running to their deaths over here. A big push on the left. Treb on the left, though. That's also going to make the difference here at Treb. That castle goes down, then deaKer's entire economy is open. So far, the Genoese crossbowmen are able to defend it. Let's see when any potentially non-cav units might walk over. And castle still being trebbed. And Hussars will raid this. I still have no idea who's going to win this. That's how about to die, is he? He's being taunted by light cav. He also heals 30 HP per minute, so he's pretty tanky. Okay, the hero is fighting. The hero is fighting. Let's see how he does. There's some castle fire trying to protect him. He's tanking against the light cav. And not going to hold up anymore. Down he goes. There we go. Get that hero out of our game. So now it feels like Stark's pushing both sides. He chopped a path through. Or maybe that was deaKer who chopped through. It might have just let Stark back the other way. And the siege ram here going for the walls. Doesn't break them. Doesn't break through. And the traction trebs over here going for the house. Sara's through. And immediately shot by the castle. Okay, well there is a hole. deaKer not bothering to plug the hole. And, oh boy, castle over to the east goes down for deaKer. The trap push continues. Should have been in Chronicles. Think random MS executive. That is my impression too. They made a complete joke of thing. I've not been a fan of them. But to be fair, the civs themselves, aside from the hero stuff and the traction trebs, are probably less broken than the Fire Lancer is. But Fire Lancer is the most questionable part of what happened. So many Korean Fire Lancer mirrors for Red Bull. So the calf push continues, but the Genoese crossbowman continues to hold. I mean, oh wait, we're Onager cutting again. Onager cutting again. How much Rage Forest does deaKer play? Does this... How much does Stark play? I don't know if Stark's really a Rage Forest connoisseur. deaKer's a big... Is he a big Rage Forest guy? I need to play some Rage Forest sometime. That's kind of the shame. I've made so many, or worked on so many different maps, I don't get to play all of them. At least not as much as I'd like to. And, Hussar is trying to break through the houses. There we go, they're in. And Trebs go for the castle. Next DLC civs getting 2 unique units each. Feels less unique when they get 2 instead of 1. Okay, good patrol stack from Stark, but he's patrol stacking and not actually microing. And he will lose the Treb. Stark, that's not how you stand ground patrol. Well, at least the Genbo's there. We'll take out some Hussars. Would have been much better had he fought with the Hussars, though. In the middle, there are still skirms. There are hereabouts. And some houses going up for Stark. The scores are really close right now. Seeing his matches, we didn't see anything. Yeah, I don't recall him playing any Rage Forest. Maybe there was just drama years ago and Varion's making a joke. Sometimes Varion trolls. Or confusing him with someone else in good faith, which is probably what's happening. Not that he did it well. See, that's the thing, though. Like, you could legit just want to... I mean, what Stark did is actually, like, the most legit use of patrol in some ways, because you actually are patrolling in front of your Trebs to protect them, right? Like that's actually the intended use of the function, too, right? And we see deaKer kind of doing the same thing there. Only, like, the aftermath of a fight. That's why the rule against it itself is so silly. And the Tiger Cab cleaning some Hussars. Is it though? Because as much as I don't like the Unified Handbook, the Unified Handbook is like a continual patrol on a small area. That wasn't a small area patrol. That was like a few tiles. The real stand ground patrols, I think, like when you try to do it right next to each other, grouped up. Yeah, as Calpus says, there are ways to stack much tighter. That I don't think was the case here. I think the clearest example of the stand ground patrol was that doubt clip with the step lancers, which was allowed because they're step lancers, where they really tightly did one tile. I looked at that. That felt completely fine to me. Yeah, plenty of gray area, impossible to arbitrate, and also an action that you naturally do during a game without trying to abuse it. So Castle killing some Hussars, and I think Stark's done it. The Genbo's there. Okay, Stark could lose a bunch of trebs though. As much as maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe Stark loses 7 trebuchets in one battle, and as much as he just took a lead, that can turn things around. That's a lot of resources to lose all at once. Is there a way deaKer removes the castle? I don't know. Hussar is killing Vils. And more Hussars, but they're getting chased down as deaKer's trying to raid. Yeah, one good trade, it just kind of flipped who's raiding who. But now, let's see, both players losing Vils. Stark's queuing more, deaKer's queuing more. Actually, I was gonna say, Stark's probably getting his Vil population back up faster because of all the TCs he's added, but now I've realized he's lost all the TCs he had. He actually lost. He was up to, what, 5+ TCs so far, and he's down to 1 now. Oh, this will be bad if deaKer loses the castle. It's a lot of farming area he won't have access to anymore, and the ram will be picked off by the Hussars. It keeps the idle TC time low, right? Yeah. Yeah, compared to deaKer, idle TC time for Stark, much lower. And a TC here for Stark. And Stark goes down. Genbo is still impossible to push. Stark with the better KD. Oh, but we're going to have skirms inside of rams. So skirms don't speed up the rams. They don't add any attack to them. But they do get protected by the rams. The other side, Trebs hitting the ranges and the stables and the houses. We're now 90 minutes in. And Treb hitting the range. As the Hussars go down. Stark got the castle unique. Yeah, has he done Silk Road? I mean, he still does have that market on the edge of the map. He needs deaKer to add a market over here, and he'll be ready to trade. Nope, no time limit. No time limit. This is not Red Bull. This is proper Age of Empires. This is 3 Vil start, no time limit. Hussar is going down to the Genbos. Yeah, let's see how well the Genbos do in this fight. I think this is going to be great. They're practically one-shotting the Hussars. deaKer not making a market in the corner is bad gamesmanship. I think that's true. Has he seen? Yeah, he has seen Stark's market. I mean, maybe it's just bad gameplay because he's not going to be able to trade himself, right? He's got the trade line walled out. Only he'd be able to do it. He needs to put his 3K level thinking cap on and realize, or his 3K elo thinking cap and realize, time to trade. I need the gold. And Stark's at 200 pop. He's raiding with Hussars. deaKer at 150 pop. The Rams getting picked off by Hussars. He has a market halfway. Oh, he does have a market there. You're right. He does have a market. Never mind. Yeah, all's good. They just need to start making trade cards. Let's go. Where's the trade? Stark legit could destroy a house and then start trading. Genbos are pushing in. Treb going for the house. Treb, oh, hitting the edge of the wall, banking the shot off the edge of the map. Do you see that? Oh, yes. Yes, inaccurate Treb bank shot off the edge of the map. Oh, let's go. Let's get another one. Oh, that hit the house legit. Okay, let's miss again. Treb's of low accuracy. Hit the edge of the map. And, oh, I hit the house. Did you see that bank shot? Oh, yes. I love catching Trebs to do stuff like that. Yeah, usually Siege Honors cutting trade is one that happens. Trebs, I guess, are inaccurate enough shooting the very edge of the map. That works. Stark is complicating this match very much. Now, that was 30 minutes ago. Real time, that was said. Need to do a better job of reading both chats at the same time. 2 moving walls of text is tough. Real is just stupid. I've been arguing for a long time it shouldn't be in the handbook. And there we go. Stark does it. Stark does it. So that's 1,163 to 1,041 KD. Yeah, Stark cleaned more, bad koala, and so far so good. GG. Yeah, it seems like the only one who can stop Stark in this tournament so far might be Nilly. No GG. The GG. Let's see. Stark wrote GG afterwards. Hello, Crab. Sometimes the GG just appears in-game. Alright, so let me just get ads out of the way. Between games, and then update the scoreboard. Got to do 2 minutes. Also, no one got an ad during the game, right? That'd be good to know. I don't think so. So I think we're good. And I guess, let's see. Win for Stark. And map. Civs, that was Italians overway. And that was the very first pick civ for deaKer, too. As employed the units kill, that's because Capture Age has a very silly subscription model that I'm not a fan of. So I don't pay for the pro version. And I don't use the pro version. I think I've been for a long time in some VIP program. I don't know if they still have that. That they gave me a free version, but I prefer to use free software for pretty much everything I do. Unless there's a very, very compelling reason not to. And hello, Wizard. How are you doing? Hope you're having a magical evening. And let's see. So Stark's in the lobby for the next game. I don't know if our base has to do some adminning. Yeah. Because they'll play all the maps anyway. I mean, personally, I feel like that wasn't a small enough area for the rule to apply. But I don't think... Have we ever actually applied the rule at some point? I don't think we have, so it'd be a... I don't think there's really a precedent for it. It is incredibly rare, right? And it's also like situationally, it's not like he took advantage of it. It's just like they were there and were worse than had they just been standing on aggressive stance because they didn't attack. Should I scan every TTL wreck for very short patrols? Absolutely. The problem is even that wouldn't do it because you're allowed to patrol into fights, just not continually on a small area. So yeah, it is incredibly silly. Which of the news is honestly, Sadish, I haven't even looked at the new civs. I am so worried that the new patch is just gonna break maps. Well, there's supposed to be a creator preview starting soon, and that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get into that beta, and I'm gonna check all the TTL maps to make sure that they don't break. After I've done that, then maybe I'll look at the civs. But I'm more worried about the maps. What I do think the whales they're adding seem kind of cool. I like when they add more features that can be used on maps. I think that stuff like that, like the oysters from the Chronicles DLCs, have been pretty cool. I think stuff like that is more interesting than civs. Lets us sprinkle new features in ways that don't necessarily have to be just through the civs. I think there's a lot more room for adding features. Yeah, Nessie. The patrol commands, Calpa, is stored in the rec, so that's actually something that could be searched for. Alright, so deaKer has joined. It looks like Monocle will be the next map. Make Nessie come once every 3 minutes. I guess I could stack multiple Nessies and use, like, decaying objects as timers, and then spawn Nessie as a dead object. Nessie War. There's some players like Kara whose units are always on stand ground. Or always on box formation. Yeah, that's that's how you can tell the difference between a Hera and a Doubt Wreck. Are they on box formation? Yeah, so that's a small area to force an advantageous fight. So, I guess, the question is, what is a small area? I would look at that rec and say that's not a small enough area to constitute a small area, and that did not force an advantageous fight. That was a disadvantage the way the micro turned out. I think they would stack up if deaKer just patrolled in. Well, what if he had, like, stand ground patrolled over a larger area and deaKer patrolled in? Right? Then the same thing would happen if they intersect. What is a small area? I don't know. The problem is, Grumpy Pirate, like, patrolling and using different attack stances has been a part of how you take fights in Age of Empires. It's, like, forever. Absolutely forever. I go back, the way I learned AoE 2 was by reading Chris's book. And there's sections there on Galley Micro about how to use patrol and stand ground to engage with galleys to take better fights. You can find like decades-old articles on AOC Zone, AoE Zone about standing ground patrol. And having just some arbitrary ban of it. Like the way I take fights is pretty much always stand ground patrol and has nothing to do with the current pathfinding. That's just the muscle memory of how I've played AoE 2 for years. And then making some arbitrary rule about you can't do this in some specific situation. Well, unless you make it very, very narrow and specific, you're completely ruining many different forms of micro. Yeah, we have a clip. We have a clip as they're about to launch into the next game. But where did that clip go? It just disappeared on me. Yeah, and this is where I'd say, pull this back up, that the way they're patrolling here, oh, look at that box formation. Clearly, both players, right? The way that it's over like 2 tiles here, I wouldn't say that's a small area. I would say it had to be even smaller than that to follow the rule. And then, yeah, it clearly doesn't follow the forcing an advantageous fight part because it doesn't force a fight at all. A couple of them stacked, but like not the entire group. Does the entire group have to stack? Yeah, like he could have stacked even tighter, but then it wasn't protecting the trebs, right? So was the purpose just to protect the trebs rather than like to force a fight? On the text of the rule, I think it's very subjective, and that is not a very clear-cut case of, oh, he's breaking the rule to me. Anyway, on to the next game. This will be deaKer as the yellow Koreans, and this will be st4rk as the purple Bulgarians. So this has been a very swordsman-heavy map, and probably one of the few maps where we will see Bulgarians. And our Krepos 3x3 buildings. Was Monocle changed for this TTL? I don't know when the last time we used Monocle was. I did rewrite this script and try to balance the fish locations more. Now, it's not perfect, and there are still other things I'd like to do to the fish, but where I'm kind of running into the limits of what's possible with map scripting. And Optimus Prime, thank you for the follow. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to fit a mill everywhere, but usually there's almost always a spot. Like you might have a few tiles where you can't get a mill, but I've yet to see something that's horrible. We used to have stretches where there were long lines where the fish only had one row instead of two rows, and I patched that up, so now there should be better and more equal fish access for each player. Other than that, this spawn looks okay to me. There were a couple of spawns where I didn't like the positioning of the outside stones that I want to fix up, but other than that, this has been relatively unchanged. I think we added a couple more gold tiles to the outside than we had in previous versions. Oh, you're Max. Thank you for gifting 5 subs.
Don't forget, keep exploring the map.
Yes, keep exploring the map. Yeah, and there are some rock objects used as scenery here. I did experiment, and I'll probably have this in a future update with, instead of placing the rocks randomly as scenery, placing the rocks strategically to block TC locations so we don't have unfair maps. Like, I don't know how many tiles that is, but maybe deaKer could fit a TC up there, and st4rk might not have a spot for it. Maybe there or there, but it's one thing to have 2 tile gaps for mills that are somewhat inconsistent. It's another if one player can get castles or TCs on the back and the other can't. So there's still a couple of things that I want to adjust, but it's more small adjustments to prevent potential exploits of the map that are not intended, rather than huge, large-scale changes to the way the map plays out. This game is sick, even if you're the worst at it. I'm grateful for you to cast it. Well, thank you very much for the subs. Hope you enjoy the casts. I know that there are a lot of people who probably played the game at some point and just enjoy seeing it at a high level. I know I have a friend who says he watches all the T90 videos, but he's afraid to play because he knows how bad he'll be if he starts playing, simply because of all the multiplayer he's watched. That sometimes it's easier to start out at something if you don't know what it's like to play to see it at a high level. So, feudal for both, and now the question is, where are the militia? Where are the men-at-arms? We'll have the barracks for st4rk. Bulgarians will have the free men-at-arms upgrade as soon as they hit feudal. deaKer will, as the Koreans, have to deal with that early pressure. And maybe he'll make a range and go for skirms? My friend is correct. Is there a path out? Oh no, st4rk is trying to escape. And st4rk should be walled in if deaKer does a couple more palisades here and there. But straight for the fish, that's where those soon-to-be men-at-arms are headed. And usually we do see towers up on the outside of monocles protect the shorefish vills. And st4rk, 10 vills out there, and immediate tower for deaKer as he tries to wall that in. Koreans is interesting. I saw one game on this map where a Koreans player got absolutely wrecked by longswords. I forget if it was Armenians with feudal longswords or a player gone castle for longswords, but they absolutely destroyed the Koreans player. But then the Koreans somehow got enough stone to do a castle and basically went full Phosphoro war wagon no eco mode and came back to win. So I'm not sure what to think of Koreans here. The ability to make tons of skirms easily feels nice, and the fact that the golds are so close to the TC, even if you don't have a lot of them, means that you should be able to make archers safely. Wall up. Maybe trust your opponent wants their tower on their shorefish too, so if they go to tower rush you, as st4rk's doing, gives you a counterattack opportunity later. Issue number 10, I think. I think that's a low counter for the roll. Yeah, even if you're watching the game, there's a good chance that we don't catch everything that happens just by watching it, right? Like Stark could have men-at-arms stand ground patrolling in his base right now, and we'd have no idea because we're watching the fight. Yeah, I guess what would have to happen would be deaKer would have to notice it and then report it to an admin. Lumber camp on the way for deaKer. He will abandon that first wood line. Does have a place, yeah, where he can wall to the TC just like he's doing to keep the men-at-arms from looping around to the next side. And hello, Alancitas, how are you doing? The same criticism for the streaming delay rules? Yep. And fog being a bit blurry there. Someone's random Blaze stream has delay. Oh my gosh, is that still a thing? I mean, is it breaking the rule if you stream without delay, but no one watches the stream? What if you stream without delay to 0 viewers on Blaze? Could also just Discord stream. Well, I guess they could somehow be logged onto Discord with multiple accounts. I don't know if that's, I don't know how easy that is. But yeah, they do have to be in a voice channel in the TTL server so that players can contact them in the middle of a set. That's to prevent the Lewis MBL situation where specs got turned off and they couldn't be contacted. So in a situation like that, Arbase or another admin just hops in the voice channel, tells them to pause so they don't need to be alt-tabbing to check messages, and explains what's going on. Let's go Stark. Lots of Stark fans. So Men-at-Arms should get through that house pretty quickly. Does Stark have arson? Of course he does. That's extra cheap. But now he might be trapped. This all comes down to, can deaKer micro down the skirms well enough? If so, then those Men-at-Arms are trapped. And Stark realizes that, doesn't want to push that situation anymore, and gets out. So far, so good for deaKer. Stark's been breaking through and adding in that tower, but hasn't really managed to get into the villagers. 0-0 eco KD. Res collected pretty much the same. Stark maybe 200 or so res ahead. I'd only be afraid as Stark if deaKer gets to like 20 feudal skirms. Hey, he is Koreans. He's Koreans, he's up to the castle age. And Korean skirms are very cheap. Oh, and UP. Thank you very much for the sub.
It's Genghis Khan. We must flee.
Thank you very much. And another tower here for Stark. So Stark continuing to try to push deaKer off of wood. deaKer has gone to the outside for stone. And as the Koreans, once he gets up, he can make guard tower to defend. But then Stark could also make creposts. We could see crepos versus guard tower. Now that I think of it, I don't think I've ever seen a Bulgarians-Koreans 1v1 that's gone to that stage of maybe guard tower trushing someone's base while you yourself are being hit by creposts. Creposts can make petards now. That was a change I was unaware of, but it's a thing. They can train petards for them now. Winged Koreans just add a few rocket carts and win the tower fight. Not against Krepos, though. Krepos actually beat rocket carts and Mangonel line units. Same thing with guard towers. We might end up with a big stalemate. Maybe players just need to go for castles instead. So deaKer and Stark up to the castle age. And castle on the way for deaKer. And longswords running around. Now we have the free guard tower for the Koreans. And what do Bulgarians do against war wagons? Also, deaKer needs to be very careful that he does not ungarrison a war wagon into the front of this castle where it would get trapped in the forest, unable to move out. As I think that is very likely to happen. Surely he deletes the barracks. Yeah, but that's the hard part, right? The barracks is behind the castle right now. It's kind of hard to click on, right? Maybe he very quickly tries to click and deletes the barracks, but oh no, deletes the castle too? Yeah, you always gotta factor that in too, the accidental deletes. We've seen that a couple times so far in TTL. Hasn't been with the castle yet. Oh, and there we go. Very first thing. War wagon gets trapped, and he does successfully delete the barracks. We saw a couple times, or what was it? It was a Dejuzu on Zimbabwe. Had a house foundation while he was luring the elephants, and went to delete the foundation and deleted the vill. You gotta use safe delete. So that does mean war wagons instead of fire lancers. I'd imagine war wagons feel better though against Bulgarians, right? Because Bulgarians could go longswords against the fire lancers. And they'd probably prefer longswords to skirms. So double guard towers, and even without mortar holes, 2 guard towers are not something that longswords and skirms can push. So deaKer will get more access to fish. And I know Stark was saying he feels that on this map, the first player to go to farms is usually at a disadvantage. You want to take the fish as much as possible. And hope that you can manage the wood eco properly, so that you're taking the fish and taking advantage of the fact you're not spending wood on farms. Got another 8 inches of snow in Chicago. Hopefully that doesn't come my way. And skirms have to fight the war wagon. And war wagon will almost go down. deaKer not wanting to push this. Long swords destroy the guard tower. And Vil there would repair the rocket cart. Rocket cart trying to take out these feudal towers. So feudal towers finally between the castle and the carts finally will be cleaned for Stark. And now he's continuing to move out to the shorefish. Now this is where it gets tricky if both players are starting to shorefish and moving towards each other. I think the Koreans with the guard towers do have a bit of an advantage in that situation. Skirms hit the Vils on the shorefish. Vils pushed back. And another Vil goes down. So TC over here from Stark. And that'll be 3 TCs in the back with a 4th TC in the middle. And War Wagon Rocket Cart. Stark still has a good score lead, up by 10 Vils. But I think this is still a really difficult unit composition now for the Bulgarians to deal with. We've seen so many phosphor rushes with the Koreans. Should we make pasta or frozen pizza for dinner? Well, what type of pasta? What toppings are on the frozen pizza? Yeah, give us some more info. And Krepos. Yeah, this is what I was talking about at the start. Well, we had a discussion and decided that we didn't want TCs and castles at the top. And now that I see this, we had seen donjons, and we're like, okay, yeah, towers can be there. Donjons make sense. I'm not sure if Kreposts at the top make sense or not. Maybe they do. Skirms at the war wagons under the tower. They have to run away. Oh, what are the toppings? Pasta would be fusilli plus a pepper cream, tomato sauce plus oregano. What are the toppings of the pizza, though? Oh, hello, Gabby. So still Stark, worried about that TC. Adding a stable, and deaKer's starting to slip out to the outside, but so far down by 20 Vils. The sound the rocket cart makes. It's like pew pew pew. Feels like it's right out of Star Wars. That is 100% belonging in Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. I'll go with the pasta. I'll go with the pasta brachiopods for the pizza. Or brachiopods for the people. Brachiopods for the pizza. That would be a great name. Alright, so dismounted Kreposts. Yaron down. Stark needed a siege tower for the dismounted Kreposts. So, 30 lead for Stark, and he's still repairing that TC, and he is buying himself so much time to boom while repairing that TC. deaKer has seen and knows that Stark is down here, but not trying to pressure. With the rocket carts, it's hard to have the mobility to pressure multiple spots at once. And while he can go for the middle, it's hard for him also to control the outside. Maybe he could be outside with war wagons. But the skirms from Stark doing a good job at the very least of keeping the war wagons away, and if they're not comboed with the rocket carts, which they'd need to be, if they were to raid out there, then the skirms can deal with them. Yeah, and it's easier to play skirm with all the food. That's a good point. Thank you, Fuzzy, for the follow. Welcome in. And now deaKer is going to try to find somewhere he can hit with the war wagons. Out here, actually, would be great. This is where I've seen so many Lewis games from Sudden Disaster where he had outposts literally everywhere. I feel like some other players would have outposts out here, and they'd see the shorefish. Food eco of deaKer is bad. That's true, but he's also going war wagons. If you're going war wagons and you're applying pressure properly, you really don't need much food eco. But trying to keep 3 TCs running, yeah, he doesn't have the food eco for that. It's one shorefish that's right now pretty far from a mill. And also dangerously close to a Krepost. Krepost is so good here, you can put them almost anywhere. Yeah, it is... There are gaps where you can't place the Kreposts around the top in the fish. but there are enough spaces is pretty consistent. Also down here, you can place Krepos fairly consistently. And rocket carts almost taking down the TC. And looks like st4rk will just abandon that TC, so it's a bit too late though. We're 36 minutes into the game and st4rk is up 112 to 68 vills. And oh my gosh, this is st4rk. This is st4rk's gameplay. If you watch st4rk games, you will see more TCs than anyone else. I wonder, Happy Leaves, do we have a TCs per game stat? Anecdotally, I feel that st4rk probably makes the most TCs per game of anyone. Back to TC. Yeah, Vanilla Donuts on the case. st4rk has played, oh, that's 8,435 games. Now, how many TCs has he made in those games? And Vill's fighting the tower as the skirms are under the tower. Back to town center. As st4rk overflow. Places an average of 2.2 town centers per game in 1v1s. There we go. There we go. I knew we'd have something like that. I remember years ago there was an arena game, st4rk versus Eddie, and Eddie was full-on 1 TC monk rushing, and I think st4rk added 12 TCs. Unlimited town centers, unlimited power. Oh, there we go. 6 TCs. 6 TCs now. Rebounding after having lost the starting TC. He is in full control of this right corner of the map. This southeastern side of the map. Yeah, deaKer wins the monocle. st4rk wins the rest of the map. And they both do click up. deaKer does manage to click up on 77 vills. And, well, let's see, we'll have the free armor upgrade for the war wagons. Bulgarians will miss the final armor for the skirms, so war wagons actually will kill them fairly decently. I think st4rk is super far ahead, but I actually don't see a way for him to clear the war wagons, even with 145 vills. What does he do to clear them? Does he go siege now? Bulgarians will have the... Oh, thank you, TJN97 for the follow. The discounted siege workshop techs, so Onager is certainly in play for them. I don't know if siege Onager would be in play without the middle. Skirms and more skirms. And Sergin, thank you for the follow. Eddie, yeah, Eddie doesn't play anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, he streams some mobile game. Yeah, so 159 vills. And I still don't know if he has a way to fight the war wagons. There still is a chance for deaKer here. This is where it gets tricky, though, because you can apparently fit Krepos up here occasionally, but you certainly can't fit a castle. And that does make it harder to push. It's issues like this that I spent so much time thinking about balancing the fish as we were testing the map, and now that we see players start to play it, and we realize that other things can be placed up here. And oh, chemistry! Oh no, deaKer, don't run away! Don't stop attacking the university. You can stop chemistry. Oh, you're right there. Keep attacking it. Keep attacking it. You're right there. Oh, there you go. There you go. Will he stop chemistry? Doesn't matter that much for the Bulgarians. But, yeah, there he goes. No chemistry for st4rk. Oh, no. 34 HP. No, turn around, deaKer. Turn around. You were right. No, don't run away. No, deaKer, no. At least it's not a bombard cannon, Civ. Oh, he's turning back. Oh, no. Oh, You would have denied chemistry. 34 HP on the university. And we'll have Blast Furnace, Hussar, chemistry, and Cap Ram coming in for Stark. And looks like Stark starting to raid with skirmishers, getting around the map. See, starting to raid with outposts. I guess those have been there for a while. Oh, he will deny Blast Furnace. He will deny Blast Furnace at the blacksmith. Or this will be close. This will be close. 67, 0 HP. Okay, no Blast Furnace. That is probably more important. Oh wait, Masonry. He can deny Masonry. Oh, he's being chased by the skirms. He doesn't want to fight that. And it looks like some Konix now racing against his TC as the Krepos goes up. And now we're at 165 vills to 92. At the very least, it's not a horribly small number of vills for deaKer. He does get up to a decent count. And looks like Masonry did come in, and Blast Furnace will be added in at the newly constructed blacksmith for Stark, who still hasn't cleared all the war wagons. There's still a good 10 of them hovering around, and even though deaKer himself is pushed off the stone, he says, if I can't have it, you can't either, and he can make a keep right on the other side. So Krepos on one side, keep on the other, and with these keeps, the Koreans are going to be incredibly difficult to push. And since Stark had spent so much of his stone on Krepos, it's not like he has a whole bunch of castles for pumping out troops. His troops are going to be all the way here in the back. He's going for crop rotation. Stark's not someone who minds a long game. And then Siege Ram, a couple of workshops to push with Siege Rams. Chulo's game 3. So Vill's attacking the Ram. But that's the problem with the melee units. Vils attack them. And now Fire Lancers. That should stop the Hussar raids. Let's see, maybe the Hussars are just too plentiful at this point. They're all over the place. Stark now, 83 Vils on wood. He doesn't have that much farming space, though. Has a couple of extra TCs. Oh, no. Oh, no. He didn't build the mill. Didn't build the mill. We can add auto farm to the game. But we can't add auto mill to the game. Oh no, those Vils will be walking a marathon to drop off that food. And it looks like more, what are those, archery ranges in the north for Stark, who wants to go skirms. He will lose some Vils, but he has Vils to spare. This is Stark. He's played long enough, maybe he doesn't have a shift lead hotkey. He's just doing the old school send your Vils to the enemy eco, so that the enemy kills them strategy for deleting them. Yeah, too much APM to shift delete. And deaKer trying to hold on with Fire Lancers. And you have to Vil fight the Ram. He's getting pushed in the bottom with Rams. And now Two-Handed Swordsman. With the Two-Handed Swordsman, especially if they get, not Starps, Bagains to have extra melee armor, then they should wreck the Fire Lancers. Bargains? You see bargains. That's a good misspelling. Bargains. I don't actually know how to say it. Is it Baggins or Bagains? Or something else entirely. He's getting rammed where? Pretty much everywhere. Hello, Harry. Trying to hold on with Fire Lancers describes every game in Red Bull. Well, there we are. There is finally the GG, and Stark goes up 2-0 with a nice hold on Monocle against the Koreans' pressure. Well, this is typical Stark. You'll see him add in TC after TC after TC, and he might get pushed, but he doesn't care. He just goes, builds another TC somewhere else. And so far, it's been working out for him. That's how I've seen him play even years ago, back in the Vubli days. You're pushed, just add TCs. Not a care in the world. So let's see. This will have 2-0 Stark with Game 3 on Tulo, as Happy Leaves writes. deaKer, nice game on Monocle, but does end up losing there. And that was a win for the very last pick Bulgarians. So Stark still will have Chinese, Spanish, and Bohemians to choose from for Tulo. against Berbers, Wu, and Mongols. We do have some really good maps for the Mongols in this map pool, but these three don't really fit the bill for them. And Baron, hello Baron. And in the lobby for Tulo. Really like the TTL maps. Good job tweaking / grading them. I really like the map pool too. I know some players don't like all the walled maps, but that's just players don't like fun. I think there's kind of limits to what you can do if you're just doing open maps without walls or water. Or nomad starts. There is... I mean, how many maps do we really have like that? There's Arabia and Gold Rush, and then lots of variants of them. Even Land Madness in some way, just an Arabia variant trying to be more open. Been looking forward to Tulo. Yep. And if UP is still in the chat, this is the good old Stronghold Frenzy map we're using again. A creation from Marintho. That had round walls. That was for this one. That's Coast Arena. Tulo also does have round walls. Border Dispute old version is different. That it is. That it is. You played Tulo in a team game tournament. Yeah, it's a pretty popular one. Marintho has a lot of good maps out there. Alright, and they have launched... st4rk went with the Chinese, deaKer went with the Mongols. If you haven't seen any Coast Arena games, Coast Arena's been a treat so far. I need to refill my waters. We have a spec delay. We'll have 90 seconds of delay still. In this stream, no games for Coast Arena, only the set I'm casting in this stream. I have casted it a few times over the past couple of days. You're making the pasta now? Good choice. Good choice. Also, chat, we're at, right now, 14,987 followers on Twitch. So we are very, very close to 15K. If we don't hit it tonight, then there's a good chance we hit it tomorrow. A crepasta? Ooh, that's what we should call building crep posts all over the map. Last game wasn't enough to be crepasta. There need to be more. There need to be more random locations. How long am I streaming tonight? This will likely be the last game, Baron. Yeah, earlier today, Daniel and Deduzu was probably about 30 minutes. For the entire set. This set at least has given us over 2 hours. Crepasta. That's what brachiopods for the people is making for dinner. And here we are. deaKer will be the yellow Mongols to the southwest, and st4rk the purple Chinese to the northeast. And this is Regicide Tulo. On Tulo, it is a Regicide start, so you start with 500 food and wood, 0 gold, and 150 stone. Why? That's just how Regicide has behaved ever since the Age of Kings. Or I think it was, at least since the Conquerors expansion, I think the Age of Kings was the same. But st4rk will use those extra resources with the Chinese to ensure that the TC is working right from the start of the game, not going to have any idle time. The Chinese is always one of the best Regicide fortress civs because of their eco. Or because of their extra vills on the map, and they don't suffer the same punishment that they do on a normal map. The first game of this was longer than Daniel versus Deduzu. So was the second game. And Borlor walls were deleted. Borlord in. Yeah, so this is another one of those circular wall maps. This one, however, was much simpler to code than Coast Arena, since I'm not using diagonal gates here. I'm simply using gates on all 4 cardinal directions. And we do have a 50-50 chance of either kings or queens. We've used that on... Or at least I've used that on a lot of regicide maps in the past. Same exact stats. And I'm hoping one day that they give us different queen sprites for the different architectures or regional civs, like we do for the kings. I'm not using Panda Rocks. Oh, I am using Panda Rocks. I'm not overusing them, Vanilla Donut. There are some Panda Rocks in the TTL maps. You just gotta keep an eye out for them. Also keep an eye out for Nessie. Keep an eye out for Nessie. I may have added her somewhere. Oh no, oh no. Not like this, deaKer. Not like this. Don't put your deer. Oh no. The deer are going right into the wall. You used to be able to get them unstuck. You could kind of push the scout between the deer and the wall, but no longer. That is very annoying. There you use their glorious. Yeah, chat. I was making the maps on stream. Do you really think chat would let me make all the maps without demanding a Panda Rock? Yeah, my idea for Nessie was instead of add her to maps, but instead of making her appear every time, we give her like a 10% chance or a 1% chance of appearing. So it's very, very rare. And then when you see her and you tell people to check, they'll look at the map and they'll be like, no, she's not there, and they won't believe you. You've seen her 3 times. Yeah, she was on Loch Ness. That is necessarily her home, right? She's the Loch Ness monster in Red Bull. I am still wondering, though, because I think I heard Dave say once that they're not supposed to say the word monster, because that's a competing energy drink to Red Bull while they're casting at the land. Which makes me extra curious for what's going to happen when someone inevitably slips up and says the Loch Ness monster and uses the word monster. I don't know if he was being serious or just joking about that. But after seeing the good old days where Voobly and Game Ranger each censored each other's name in the chat, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, look at this. Stark, not paying attention, gets hit by deaKer's scout a couple of times. And Stark's feudal, so we'll have the better scout now. And with those militia, we'll see if he decides to go for men-at-arms, but probably just going straight up to the castle age. And he docked the pond, but didn't do any fishing ships. He only docked in order to fish with the villagers. And the downside of docking like that, instead of going for the mill, is that you need the mill in addition to the dock to do the market. So market and blacksmith up for Stark. And he did get some food for those fishing ships, but also had to spend more wood on the dock that he otherwise could have saved. And we have seen the approach on this map that some people ignore the water and don't go for the fish. We have seen the Aztecs picked for 50 gold so they can drush immediately and fight. And as I pointed out at the start, you start with 0 gold, which means you can't do loom right away. So if you want to send your Vils out to fight, you could be risking a huge fight without loom. These are fortified palisade walls. Yes, they are different than normal. They're a campaign object for the most part, but used in some map scripts. If you play hill forts, you'll see the fortified palisade walls. There are stone gates, however, because there are no fortified palisade gates corresponding to the walls. It was either a palisade gate or a stone gate. And the map went with stone gate. Yeah, mega random spawns with them sometimes. And, ooh, okay, deaKer setting his Vils forward. Let's see if Stark's paying attention to that. His scout has 1 HP, so he won't be able to stop whatever they're up to. Loomless Vils against a 1 HP scout. Yeah, deaKer doesn't need to wall up right away there, but he will be doing a workshop. And as the Mongols, what will happen here? Double bit axe and loom being finished. One of the changes I made to this map, if you'd seen previous versions of it, is the old way of doing the circle walls used map scripting hacks that meant siege towers didn't work. So if deaKer has some type of plan that involves Mongol siege towers, he could pull it off now. HP difference? I think they have twice as much. It's 500 compared to 250. And it will be a step lancer forward for deaKer. Oh, and Husiel, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome in. Another player playing in TTL. And the fortified tower does have a rather large range of 13. You have to be extra careful of that. And Mangonel hitting the palisade wall. Trying to break through. Who is another player playing in TTL? Who CL is. That's who. Alright, so wall's down. A bit of walling to the TC there from St4rk, as he's trying to add in another... or a first workshop in the middle of his base. And he is the Chinese, so of course he'll be going Fire Lancers. Do Fire Lancers counter Step Lancers? I would think so. They do have the charge attack and the counter damage. And defensive tower. Towers are difficult on Regicide because you don't have the stone to make a second one. And you won't be able to make a TC now. And now St4rk has to chop to the outside to get to the stone. On this map, there's no stone in the middle, no starting stone in your base, nowhere else inside any of the trees. You have to chop to the outside. And these trees here are special. They have 200 wood instead of the standard 100 wood. So it's equivalent to chopping through 4 trees. And he does just manage to get out. I don't know if he's realized. But there he goes, and now he can build a TC and try to access the stone and the berries that are out here. And with the stone, he might be able to commit to even more towers. And Fire Lancer's going after the steppies as the Mangonels go to take out the house. And we'll see a few palisades. Oh, wait, what is this? What is this? Siege tower alert. Siege tower for St4rk. This is the max number of Fire Lancers that can fit into it and the max speed, 1.05. So it's actually slower than the Fire Lancers themselves. And he probably could have used the Fire Lancers themselves there. But, oh, you can't quick wall that. It's a siege tower. St4rk should hop that and then destroy the Mangonels. And, oh, nice Mangonel shot on the Lancers. And the tower goes down. We're seeing the HP nerf played into effect. So I'm going to chalk that up as a win for the Siege Tower nerf. Definitely less effective than putting 10 Fire Lancers in the tower and having it zoom around at the speed of almost a knight. Can you hop an unfinished palisade? Yes, you can hop a foundation. You can even hop your own foundations. If you can get creative with that occasionally. I think that's my top viewed Twitch clip of all time. When Ornlu had a diagonal in his woodline, and I used the siege tower and an unbuilt palisade to hop it. You just have a cooldown before they re-garrison if you want to keep the speed. I think the answer is you don't want to keep the speed. I don't think there's any universe where having the siege tower at 1.3 speed, which is essentially the same as a knight, makes sense. Okay, Mangonel hit by the rocket cart. Monk wants some healing on the Step Lancers. And behind this, what's deaKer's eco like? He's chopped to the outside. He started to gather stone, but he doesn't have any additional TCs. St4rk, as you might expect, is on 2 additional TCs. And again, I think he's done a good enough job of slowing down the push that by the time it manages to do any reasonable amount of damage, he will have fully boomed up. He does, though, have to be careful about that fortified tower and of a potential queen snipe. He does have to remember that the map is regicide. Want Cobra Car Cav? I don't think you want that. Yeah, he's playing sick, and it's also been very Stark-styled. I've been seeing lots of extra TCs and booming. He's been making it work. I was really impressed by that instant town watch on High Tides he did. Immediately, he felt the tower rush was coming and scouted it with town watch. For a split second, I did the same thing, Baron. I saw the purple-colored S matching the color of Stark in-game, and I thought Sato's name was Stark typing in the chat for a second. And I was like, wait a minute. And because the message started with Stark, too. That made it look extra like a Stark message. Sato trying to blend in. So Stark's just booming up in the back, adding in, what is this? TC. Booming every game. TC number 4. Doing a mill on the barriers. I'm surprised that's not TC number 5. The gate's down, and we're seeing the effect of the fortified tower at the front of the base. Slowing down the mangonel push. It's not a castle. I wonder how well you could push this with mangonels. I've never actually seen it pushed. And even though it has a scary range, it's not like it has a super high attack. And he's opened up room for his own castle drop. Okay, wait a minute. There's one way Stark loses this game, and that's if he forgets that this is a regicide game with the queen in that tower, and the castle drop is able to destroy the tower. Because wait just a minute. If all of Stark's eco's on the outside, he's not going to have vills for garrisoning the TC against the Step Lancers. That castle's going to go up. Oh my gosh. Stark may have lost this game. Stark may have lost this. If those Step Lancers can fight the Fire Lancers, and he doesn't run the queen, that tower's going to go down and he's going to lose. If deaKer has to remember it's regicide too. deaKer has to also remember that it's regicide. Yeah, this could snowball very quickly. Now, are either of these players remembering that this is regicide? And that there is a monarch living in that tower who needs to be sniped off? So deaKer's tower, no threat by Stark. Stark's not aggressive at all. As a monk on the outside. What type of rocket cart shot? Okay, I was worried that would get all 4 mangonels if they stacked. There is the castle. Attacking the TC. Stark will try to repair the tower. I know, it does look like he forgot. It does also look like deaKer forgot. Because right now, deaKer, he's making mangonite. He should be making petards. It will take, well, I think 4 petards to destroy a fortified tower, and there's no way it gets sniped off in time. Oh, this is so frustrating. deaKer should have won he should be winning right here. He might still win. I think he wins the fight against the Fire Lancers. He has so many Step Lancers. He just needs to fight. The fires are weak. A couple of towers there are annoying. He'll get the rocket cart. Nicely done. Have a bit of a hill advantage. So if this isn't regicide, I think deaKer's still in an okay spot, but has to do a lot of damage very quickly, which he might be able to do. But I think Stark still wins with a defensive castle. But this is regicide. This is regicide. And Stark has not managed to run the queen. Now he should probably delete the barracks and a couple palisades and maybe try to get out to that TC. Because right now, if deaKer just pushes that tower, he'll be fine. Castle up in the back. Maybe he thinks to attack the TC with the Step Lancers. Doesn't even need petards. Oh, there she goes. There she goes. Stark remembered. Stark remembered. Oh, no, deaKer needed a couple Step Lancers out here patrolling, too. But Stark remembered it's regicide. He will run the queen. Where's she running to? Oh, my gosh. Okay, deaKer, you have to see this. You have to see this. No, deaKer, no. Oh, no. Well, there goes his chance. There goes his chance. Oh, Stark, he's garrisoned vills in the tower now. He's garrisoned vills just to confuse deaKer. Make him think this queen's still there. Stark isn't being fooled like that. I don't think deaKer's going for the tower. As it does have a minimum range too, yeah, so if you micro the Lancers underneath it, you can stab it down. Hello, Solidified. Well, right now we had one player remembering it was Regicide at the last minute and saving his queen. And yeah, that is true. The ungarrisoning unique units bug. Well, it wouldn't be the first time, right? I don't know if this has ever happened to you, Sato, but there's a bug. It happens less often than it used to. Sometimes when you click, as Stark ungarrisons some vills. Oh, wait, she ungarrisons with the vills. Sometimes the unit portraits disappear and are just replaced with a black square. It happens most of the time when you're in the scenario editor and messing around with stuff. I get it a lot while map scripting, and then if I go play a multiplayer game, I have to play the game without actually having any icons. I once lost a Regicide game for that exact reason, because I had a king and a castle and I was making unique units. But because I didn't have the unit portraits, I looked down and I was like, oh, I'll ungarrison my unique units. And completely forgot that I ungarrisoned the king too. And by the time I realized it was too late. Crazy walls for Stark. Stark likes his walls. Stark's gonna wall off half the map on the other side. And he's probably sending Fire Lancers around and might even think about sending vills this way to continue walling. We'll have another castle from deaKer. Stark's just putting the relic in the monastery. Will the monk make it there? He will. But Stark's up to Imp. And once he gets up, it'll probably be GG. And he can make some trebs. And deaKer raiding the economy of Steppe Lancers, deciding to move the castle a few tiles forward, trying to threaten the farms of both TCs. Bodkin on the way for Stark. deaKer has Bodkin, and the two castles will be able to hit each other once Bodkin comes in for Stark. Took out too many palisades, push wasn't fast enough. Yeah, I guess he still does have a chance that if Stark is on the outside, he doesn't have any gold access. Maybe there's a world where deaKer does a ram push successfully on this castle, and then denies Stark of all gold, and can make a comeback that way. But he's going to push the outside. And this will be difficult because it'll be Steppe Lancers under a castle with Bracer. And rams that could be foiled by Chuko News behind the castle. Oh, wait, oh, the queen's in the TC. I was like, wait, why is she not in the castle? It's because she's in the TC. I was scared there for a moment. Yeah, that many Chuko News would we have there. 11 Chuko News, that should be able to stop the ram push. And the rams here will go down. They shoot so many arrows, and they have an attack bonus against rams, so there's a GG. And Stark will sweep that set. And has Stark won every single game? The set against Bad Koala was chaos, but that was a 3-game sweep for Stark. So GG's. He remembered the queen. Took a while, but remembered. Had to bring her to safety, and does so successfully. So GG. Another name on the bat. And let's see. 3-0 Stark. And he will win his home map of Tulo. And look at the saves. A win for the Chinese and a loss for the Mongols. Let me just pull up Wikipedia real quick. Let me pull this up. Let me do it in Firefox so I'm not inundated with ads. Long live uBlock Origin. And we'll look at the standings. So yeah, that's what I was going to say. Stark is 9-0. So yeah, Stark. You give Stark 3 more points at the top of this group. But he is beasting his way through TTL. Swept Koala. Or swept Koala, swept more. And now we'll have swept deaKer. So he still has Nawe. And then Dennis to go through. But he's making a good case to move up to gold. And I mean, Stark does feel like a gold level player to me. But a lot of TTL left here still. Find it so impressive, 40 APM every game, beating a lot of good players. Yep. Am I playing in the community event with nearly 50 signups in the first 12 hours? When is the community event, Arbase? When is it taking place? Because I have to do the maps for most likely Warlords and also the Brazil land, so I don't know if I'm going to have time. I feel like I don't want to commit to something. Group A is a gold group. I feel this is what I feel about Silver, is that whoever really commits the time to practicing and preparing for the maps will win their groups. And I think everyone in all the groups is a good player, but the practice component will separate people in this event. Starts the 23rd of which month? Of which month? Yeah, I'm going to get to experiment with the new map assets and everything they add in the DLC. To try to get some Brazil-themed maps. I'll hopefully get to work on those once the creator preview starts. I need to figure out how much I'm traveling, too. Yeah, the Brazilian Dynasty over the summer. There's going to be a LAN event in Brazil, organized by Onamaru. So there we are. That'll be it for tonight. They gave us a good long set. A good 2 hours for streaming. So thank you all for watching. We'll go and give a raid on Twitch. And we'll be back tomorrow, because we have two things tomorrow. First, there's TTL, but also there are... Am I traveling for Red Bull? Yes, I do. I do have tickets for London. I need to figure out where else I'm traveling in addition to it. We will have on the schedule, let's see, is this on Wikipedia? Probably not. Let's see. It will be TTL at 14 and 15 GMT, Cosmonaut Husiel and Ganji Margugu. And then after that, probably around 18 GMT or so, we're going to have a show match. Let me open up Rapture's message. We have 5 custom maps. Welcome to Rapture in the RMS Discord hosted a map scripting competition. And we have the 5 winners of that are going to be played by... who was it again? It was Dave Hun and... Was it Dave Hun and King Boo? Oh no, Dave Hun and Benanji. There we go, Dave and Benanji. So we're going to have 2 very experienced clown map players play some custom maps. I've never seen them played before, but just looking at the screenshots in Discord, it looks pretty cool. We have a flower valley that looks like a flower. That is lovely. So that'll be probably around 18 GMT. So I'll see you tomorrow. And I have to show those books behind us. Maybe we'll do a book reading stream one day and do some math books. Anyway, I'll see you all tomorrow. And hopefully get that on LP. I don't think there's a prize pool or anything for it. So I don't know if they will put it there. I always have problems with LP that they don't put all the events there. Because there are like standards for... I can understand standards for tiers, but there are some things that they just don't put there. And then they don't show up on the other schedules because of that. Because I think I know the dashboard and I guess all the websites probably pull from Wikipedia to get the schedules. It's like $50 for a show match? Let me ask Rapture if there's a prize pool. Is there a prize pool? But yeah, that'll be tomorrow around 18 GMT. I don't know if I'll cast TTL before that. There's another TTL set at 21 GMT, so I might do a night shift again and do like 18 GMT and then cast the TTL set afterwards. But anyway, that's it for tonight. I'm going to go finish my laundry and eat some dinner, and I'll see you all tomorrow.